Listen, Chelsea third on 67 points right now. They've got a plus 23 goal difference. Liverpool fourth, 66 points with a plus 24 goal difference. And then Leicester in fifth place, also on 66, but a plus 20 goal difference. I mean, this one is incredibly close to call. Almost too close to call, Darren Lewis, wouldn't you say?
I think it is too close to call. You know, the first thing to say about it is that when City won the league, with how many games to spare, and then the bottom three was all wrapped up, it looked as though it was going to be a really uninspiring end to the season at that point. And I think a lot of us did fear that it would peter out. So to go into the final day with so many clubs having so much riding on their, not just their results, but their performances, because in the case of Liverpool and Leicester, the goal difference isn't very big at all. So it could well be that if Leicester have a thumping win, they could overtake Liverpool on goal difference. I mean, it's unlikely, of course. And obviously we've got the intrigue of the game at Villa Park, because, as I said before, I don't know what Chelsea's going to turn up. Is it going to be the Chelsea that went out with a whimper against Arsenal, or is it going to be the Chelsea that was so defensively imperious for so long under Thomas Tuchel? I don't know. And also Villa, I mean, they've got nothing to play for. They can play with freedom. Ollie Watkins is scoring goals for fun. Jack Grealish is really coming into his own after a long time out. And the interesting thing about that game, it comes 2 days before Gareth Southgate is set to name his England squad. So there are players with maybe just making sure, you know, they put themselves in his mind with a big performance against Chelsea. So that could go either way. The only result I'm fairly certain about is that Leicester will see off Spurs, because defensively Spurs are awful.
No, you can't say that. I can't let you get away with that.
What, you didn't watch Spurs the other night?
No, but you're more certain. You're more certain that Leicester will beat Spurs than Liverpool will beat Crystal Palace at Anfield.
That's a fascinating one, and I'll tell you why. On the face of it, absolutely. Palace look like they're on the beach at the moment, and there's all sorts of a big chapter's coming to a close. Roy Hodgson, fantastic era, but historically over the last few seasons, Palace have really started to wind down long before the end of the season. But I just wonder if in that last game they want to put a performance on for their outgoing manager. I wonder also about the form of Benteke. I think it's 8 goals in 11 matches so far. Really good, solid end of season flurry of goals for him. I wonder about Liverpool's vulnerability at centre-half. Yes, Nat Phillips had a great game last night, but they have been inconsistent. And I just think a lot of us, on many occasions so far this season, have taken Liverpool against the smaller teams for granted. And you look at the Newcastle game, they were held. You look at the Leeds game, they were held. I just wonder if this could be a game that might produce a little bit of drama.
Curtis, do you share Darren's concerns about Liverpool, the in-form team in the Premier League right now?
No. Simple answer. I think Liverpool, for me, Liverpool have found that edge that, one, they've obviously their qualities come back. Firmino scoring goals. They look happy again, but also they found that battling quality. So, you know, to go to Burnley and to win 3-0 at Burnley, which is notoriously their bogey team. Remember Burnley being 1-0 at Anfield before. So that was a massive result. And that was the result that told me not just the fact that they won the game, but the comprehensive win in that game was a thing that told me that regardless of it being Palace at home or not, I felt confident in the fact that they were going to get over the line. And now they've built this steamroll momentum. The pressure is now on the others to try and catch up. And unfortunately, I think Leicester will beat Tottenham. But I think Chelsea, I think they'll probably do enough to beat Villa. But I think the best you're hoping for is if Chelsea draw at Villa Park, Leicester win, Liverpool win, then they'll both win the Champions League. And then they've just got to hope that Chelsea win the Champions League. Then we'll have 5 teams. So for English football, it'll be brilliant. For the final day of the season, the narrative will be brilliant. But I'm just looking forward to see what happens, because, you know, I do fancy all 3 of them to win. But I know it's not going to be as simple as that.
It comes down to that pressure as well, that final day pressure, which I'm sure you know.
See, the problem is, Hugh, that the reason why we are at this point is that games that we expected all 3 teams to win, they didn't win. That's the point. They were held in matches that we didn't expect to happen. And that's why I think it's going to be wide open. I don't think it's going to be straightforward at all.
Curtis, very, very quickly, have you ever in all of your football career allowed a goal to be scored against your team by a goalkeeper?
No.
Good, because I was going to ask you to talk me through... I was going to ask you to talk me through exactly what happened on that set piece from a West Brom defensive perspective, but you wouldn't know because it's never happened to you, let's be frank.
All I can say is goalkeepers are usually sent up there because it's an extra body. Defenders are naturally told their positions by managers and whoever does their set pieces. But I think the idea that there was a man free in Kyle Bartley, that was the free man who was in that zone, and he sees someone as big as Alisson coming up, I think he should have took responsibility and just marked him. That's my personal opinion. And then you take the manager's ref afterwards, and then for being out of position. But that's my personal opinion. And but if they'd scored in the position where he came out of, I'm sure Big Sam would have had something to say to him anyway. So.